We're going to start off discussing the topic of elite sport versus mass participation. This is generally quite a hot topic around the union and university. How do you currently see the balance between the two within the university? And do you think there should be a change of emphasis? Do you think the university is currently balancing these right? How do you see it as being? And do you think there should be a change in the way that we prioritise either elite sport or mass participation? And we're going to start to my left.
Right, I think elite sport and mass participation obviously are both very important for university sports. The balance at the minute is something that we are discussing, particularly in sports committee, and is on the agenda. I think the one thing, elite sport is supported a lot more by the alumni and the kind of the money side of the university, unfortunately, whereas the mass participation side, club sport, intramural, lower level sports, is unfortunately neglected. There are other schemes where, with the new Jazz Ennis schemes that have just come in, because Jazz Ennis is a University of Sheffield alumnus, the university are willing to put more money into towards elite sport.
And that's time, thanks. No, 30 seconds isn't very long, so everyone bear that in mind.
Right, I think at the moment the balance is quite good. We do have both quite good, strong, grassroots level sports. But I think also if we push that even more, that will benefit elite sports as well. If we have more people being able to play football or basketball or whatever sport they're playing, that will get us more people, a bigger pool of talent to choose from for elite sports. So yeah.
Great. If you want to pass on.
Well, I think the line is very fine at the moment. With some clubs, obviously, high performance is needed, but with other clubs, I think it needs to be more open. For example, with my club, we have both training sessions on Monday for the team, but on the Friday, we encourage lots of beginners to come at 5 till 7. And for that bit there, we encourage beginners throughout the year to come and join us. I think all clubs need to look to do that, more give it a go programmes and recreational events.
Thank you.
I agree with Ben completely, but the mass participation of the majority sports, as I mentioned last night in my debate, do have, like football and basketball. I mean, I'm not sure about basketball at this university, but quite nationwide in a lot of universities has very good mass participation. So does football. But there is a lot of impetus to be made for minor sports to have a certain amount more of mass participation, because there's a lot of people that want to play seasonal sport and or a sport all through the year that maybe is not as well funded as the ones that we all know about.
I believe we have a good balance at the moment. I know at our club ourselves we promote the social side and promote the elite sports people. I think a lot of clubs do encourage this, and I think at the moment it's a really good balance and we should keep this forward.
I definitely agree with what Jenny just said. It's all about, the balance is the key thing to remember, but I think we definitely focus here on participation, but I think with the Alumni Foundation with the funding that's come in for the elite sport, it's definitely, we're pushing towards that. But that's what makes Sheffield so great, is that we've got a wide diversity about us, which is why we do so well in books, and which is why we beat Hallam as well, because we just have the variety in there.
Brilliant, thanks. I'm just going to give candidates the opportunity, if anyone wants to come back on anything that's already been said, speak now. Ever hold your will. Right, Ben, we're going to give all the candidates an opportunity, so you can either develop on things that you've already said or respond to what other candidates have said, but we'll go over to Ben first of all.
It's just a bit about funding. That, of course, if the university is going to actually either pay per players that play or by how successful we are in books. At the moment, a lot of the money is based on how well we're doing in books, but that has to change. If we get more players, then you have to base it on actual mass participation, and surely it's that we pay towards that way.
Great. I'm gonna come. We'll do a little rally, but in the from one end to the other. But if you don't have anything to add, that's fine. You can waive your right to speak. But obviously, everyone has still got 30 seconds if you want to use that.
Well, I definitely agree that it's to do with participation, but I don't think that we can just focus all our money on the lower tiers. We definitely have to spread it around in order to push for the elites. But definitely participation is in there.
Well, with London 2012 coming up, we definitely need to help those elite sportsmen who will be representing our university and our country. But we also need to support the social members, the people who want to come for fitness, who do enjoy sport, not just on a competing level, but volunteering, coaching and refereeing. So I think we need to make the balance, but we definitely need to support the elite.
There definitely is a balance, and it was highlighted to me yesterday that the highest participation rate is skiing, followed by snowboarding, and one other sport that escapes me. And they are, in a sense, they are minor sports in the grand scheme of things. But when you think the number of people that actually participate in the recreation is a lot, so there is a balance. But there must be a few alterations that you can make on a minor level. And I'd like to get the funding sheet and have a look at that before I sit down and further look towards the job.
The thing is, we do need to fund the elite sports, because if we have a really good orienteering team, for example, that will get more people to want to get involved in this uni, want to come to this uni, if we have well-renowned sports teams. But at the same time, we don't want to exclude the people that come and just want to play basketball or football on a recreational level, because that is part of uni life as well, having the time to just get some exercise. I don't know how I would have got through my degree without intramural football, for example.
I'll try and quickly this time so I don't get cut off. So the balance is very important. You've got to support the elite sport. So it's a trickle-down system. The more elites you have, the more it gets. If we didn't have a good first team, we wouldn't be able to have that development freshers team that we do have without putting out that team week in, week out. Dan, I'd like to comment on the fact that you keep bringing up about the football teams and things like that. It's one of the most recreationally played sports in the world, and there are elite levels, but then it is one of the most widely supported minority teams. Everybody can play football at this university. You can't neglect that skiing is the biggest and things like that. That you think you're focusing too much on the big six, as it were, and that we get
I'm
negative.
going to cut you off. As we've had a bit of a question, I'm just going to give another really brief opportunity if anyone wants to respond. If you do, give me a shout. If not, and again, I'll give everyone the opportunity if anyone wants to speak, but if you don't, you don't have to use it. We have discussed this quite at length now, but I do want to give an opportunity for anyone else to come in now.
I do agree, and yes, I have made big reference to the Big Six a lot. I'm just saying there is a significant amount of funding given to many, individual sports that possibly could be alternated. Probably not by reducing funding, just minor allocations in certain areas that could, siphon it to other sports that may or may not need it more or less.
And if anyone else does, yeah.
This Big Six idea is definitely something that's being drawn on quite a lot, but we can't just ignore the Big Six. They are the Big Six for a reason. They are a massive part of sport at this university, and we have to support them. They draw a lot of people in, like football, hockey, netball, rugby. They have such high rates of participation. You can't just ignore those. Yes, you do need to focus on the smaller ones as well, but you can't just ignore the fact that they are the biggest clubs here. They are that for a reason.
Well, I just wanted to say as well, actually walking is the biggest club, and so saying that the Big Six, walking has a huge participation and they don't have that much funding, so really saying you want to cut down the biggest clubs is a bit of a interesting comment.
I'm sure funding is allocated according to how many people participate. If you have 500 football players, surely they need more money than 50 basketball players, for example. That's just common sense. And I do think the sports officer, club sport manager, they allocate the money according to who needs it. I think we do that quite well at the uni.
I think the funding now, the way it's divvied up, is, I think, completely fair among the big teams. The big teams that do compete in bucks do get a fair amount. The big clubs, they support themselves self-sufficiently. I mean, I know I pay £100 a year subs, whereas Walking Club don't pay as much. They are a bigger club and they're a very big, important part of the club at this university. They've got a lot of members, but they don't have the costs that the bigger clubs have. They don't have to pay for a £1,000 bus to Scotland and things like that. That's where the money needs to come differently.
I'm just a little amused because I don't think there's any money going into clubs, to be honest here. I think the money is there going into playing for pictures when it's time for books. There's no actual money going into clubs saying, look, there's 500 members, there's £500, go spend it how you want. That's not how it works. The money's there for people when they're representing the university. It's not as if, oh, that's football, they're doing really well, we're going to give them a grand to do whatever they want with. That's not how it works. it works in a far fairer system than that.